morning. Welcome to another vlog. I'm very late on starting this vlog. I intended to start it on Saturday. It is currently Tuesday. So, real quick before I get into the books, I want to feature my mug. Bob didn't listen to the haters. Okay, so this vlog is basically me just trying to fit in 2 more books into the last week and a half of August. It's August right now, yes. So I started one of the books on Friday, but only a little bit. That's why I wanted to start the vlog on Saturday, but now I'm halfway through the book. So let me show you the books. So the first book is The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I am already halfway through this, basically. I'll give you guys some more thoughts on this in a little bit, but basically this is an epic fantasy. As you can see, dragons are involved in it, and you're following multiple POVs in this fictitious world that is very Viking inspired. Then the second book is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. This one is kind of self-explanatory from the title. I think it's just supposed to be ladies that start a book club because they believe that their town has a vampire in it and they're trying to figure out how to get rid of it. And that's basically it. I wanted to fit in more of a horror novel, especially since spooky season is coming. So this will be my last book of August. Let's talk about Shadow of the Gods for a little bit. I'm halfway through it, so a good chunk of it. Basically, the setting of this whole world is that there used to be these gods and they kind of self-destroyed themselves. Most people hate the old gods because, well, they kind of destroyed everything and ate a lot of humans. But yeah, so that's one pretty important factor in this. So far, this book is very brutal. Very, very brutal. It's got a lot of action in it, which I really enjoy, but it also balances itself out really well with very wholesome moments, which just become even more brutal because then just shit happens. So that has happened a lot in this book. I will say I am more invested in Orca's story just because I really enjoy the mother character, and that she's not just like a gentle mother who loves her kid and who loves her husband. She's very dedicated to her family, but she's also a very cold kind of woman, right? And I really enjoy it. I really enjoy her character. Elvar is becoming interesting. She seems to be connected to some pretty high political figures that are in this story. I also do enjoy how the politics are in this book because it's very Viking. Like, if you've ever watched the show Vikings, or you've even read just a little bit about Viking culture, this is very heavily influenced, which is why I also looked up some of the names of like the creatures and monsters that are in here, because I was like, oh, are these like related to Norse mythology? They're not. I looked up a word and it came up with like a Jewish school, so I was like, okay, these are made up words. But some things, like the weapons that they use, the names of their ships and things, I honestly, I really enjoy the world building. Little note that kind of bothers me. Okay, maybe not kind of. It really bothers me. The author keeps using the word thought cage. When I say that it's using that word a lot, I'm not kidding. Like, almost every other page is the word thought cage. It's kind of bothering me. It's a little frustrating, I'll be honest. I would like a different descriptor for your brain, your mind, your thoughts, right? You don't have to say thought cage every time. It's a little frustrating. It's so small, but it really does bother me. So yeah. Otherwise, very much enjoying this book. Cannot wait to continue it. So yeah, I will check in with you guys later. Time for an update. I finished it. I actually finished it this morning before going to work. I was trying so hard to get it done because the ending of this book, it was intense. So, overall thoughts, I think that the word thought cage was repeated a little too much, but the beginning does a very good job of introducing the characters and kind of building the world while you're following these characters, figuring out what it is that, like, what's their purpose, what is their part in this story. It's pretty obvious that these 3 separate characters are going to eventually meet up or something like that. By the end of the book, only 2 of them meet up, I guess, kind of. So I'm assuming that in book 2, most likely more will happen. I had such a good time reading this book. There are a few points that I think were a little confusing, but they happened towards the end, and I know there's going to be, pretty sure this is going to be a trilogy, so more will be explained later. But overall, the world building was clear. I got so attached to the characters. My gosh, I got so emotional when some things happened in this book. So yeah, Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne is really good. I really enjoyed it. I really did. The ending, the very, very end, I'm kind of upset with myself because I feel like I should have seen that coming. There were so many signs, so many little hints, and I'm like, how did I not see that? Of course, because I was so distracted by the bigger plot happening and thinking like, okay, so when is this person gonna meet up with this? Or, oh my gosh, like, she's gotta find the stuff. And I was just, oh, right at the end, I was like, of course. Out of all 3 of the characters, because there's Orca, Varg, and Elvar, Orca is definitely the one that I loved the most. I think that she was such a goddamn badass. She is a mother, and she is also a wife, and just her personality in general, like, she's not the heartwarming, loving mother. She's hard. She's cold, but she loves her family and will do anything for them. And I think that was just a really beautiful to have as a character to follow. Anyways, so now that I finished Shadow of the Gods, it took me a little longer than I expected. So now I have like 4 days to finish the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. I think I'll be fine. But yes, this is my next read, my last read of August, and my first real horror, I get. Well, I read Salem's Lot by Stephen King, but basically my first horror for the month. I'll say that. So yeah, I will get started on this one, and I will update you guys on how I feel about this. Okay, so I realized I did not record a vlog this weekend. We actually did a few things this weekend, and I was just going with the flow, and I kind of forgot about it. So we built a nice little, like, basking area for the bearded dragon, which has now been renamed from Jabba to Littlefoot. It's probably going to change again. We're really not set on a name, but Ryan likes Littlefoot. If you don't remember, I had a lot of plants here, and when we were moving the plants around to, you know, situate these sort of, like, pillow things, Ryan lifted up one of the plants, and he realized that there was mold growing under it. Because I'm so good at taking care of plant life, sometimes I would overwater and the water would just spill into the wood windowsill underneath. So he ended up adding, I'll just show it. He ended up putting, like, this plastic stick-on tile, and I cleared out a lot of my plants. So I have my coral cactus there, and we just have these pillows and everything, and I have my jade plant there, which I don't know if it's healthy or not. It looks healthy here, but then it doesn't look healthy there. I don't know. I did download a plant app to keep track of the watering, and it also will help you, like, know how to care for your plant from time to time. I ended up repotting a few other ones too, like, I can't even take them out, but this little guy over here, I don't know if he has enough sun here. We will find out. Probably not. Probably gonna die, let's face it. It's my plants, they don't live very long. Anyways, onto the book. So I have been reading the Southern, what is it again? The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Over the weekend I did get halfway through it, and I really, really enjoy it. I'm not a huge horror reader, not because I don't like it, but because I just was never really introduced to it. But this is good. It's made me laugh a few times. Like, there's some kind of humoristic things that happen or that are said, but then there's also some really gory, gruesome moments. Like, shit I didn't expect, but now I do. Like, this book started off kind of, I wouldn't say lighthearted, but casual, you know? It's just these women living in the 90s in a very suburban area. They have a book club. They don't like the initial book club, so they start their own book club. And then, you know, they're just kind of hanging out, and then the new guy comes along. Maybe it's not necessarily psychological horror, but it is turning into something a lot more twisted, I guess. Because our main character, who is trying to get people to understand that her neighbor is... The way she's trying to frame it is to get him in trouble, but without revealing what she actually saw, which obviously would make people think she's crazy. Like, there's no way, like, you know, once it's supernatural, people are like, no way. Like, that's for movies. But the way that she's being ostracized now, and the way her husband... At first I was like, oh yeah, like, Craig is not... Craig? I don't even know if his name is Craig. Clark? I don't know. I forgot his name. But her husband, at first I was like, oh, he has her back. Like, he's trying to help her. He doesn't really believe her, but, you know, he's being respectful. And now he's just a dick. Like, now I'm just like, fuck you, Craig, Clark, whatever the fuck your name is. I feel like this is really well done because it's not just horror. It's also, like, what it was like to have a nuclear family in the 90s and to be a woman in a household like that, and the shit that she goes through. Like, there's a phrase in here somewhere. Carter. Carter is the husband's name. Carter is a terrible father. I just want to point that out. Yeah, this. I think it's Carter who says it. He says, "You're both housewives. What else do you do all day?" Like, bitch, do you see your house cleaning itself on its own? Do you see the fridge just restock on its own? I mean, she has kids. I'm sure that that's a fucking hassle. Anyways, like, there are clearly other elements to this book that add to kind of how horrible everything is. Like, it's not just a horror book. It's also just just visceral in a lot of ways, not just in, like, blood and guts. So I'm very much enjoying it, and I will let you guys know how I feel by the end of it, because who knows, maybe I'll hate the ending. Alright, I did it. I finished it. This book was really good. I really did enjoy it. I almost feel like it's like whimsical horror, because 2 seconds after this super gory scene, there's like just women talking about their favorite methods of cleaning up. I was highly entertained by this book. I really love the ending. I think the ending was probably one of the strongest parts, where it's not necessarily a happy ending, but it's still a good ending. Comes to a close. I loved Patty. Patricia. I will say that I kept reading her name. Every time I saw her name, I was just like, Patricia! Like the meme. I don't know why. I'm very glad that I read it, and I want to read more by Grady Hendrix. I don't think I would read it again, but maybe that's only because there were some moments that just really creeped me out. Which I really don't read enough books that do that. I enjoy reading it. I'm just like, ugh, okay. That was very well done, but now I need to watch a cute little rom-com or something. This was a wonderful selection of books to read, and I'm very happy that I got to both of them. So if you enjoyed this vlog, please feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know if you read either of these books. What did you think about them? And if you haven't, then are they on your TBR? So that's it for this vlog, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.